Hello everybody and welcome to the Character Collection Series Part 4. This time we are unlocking all characters in 5D's world. First though, we had to unlock the world itself by summoning winged monsters 10 times. Crossword Beetle and winged rhinos from Rampage of the Forest were in every deck I was using against standard duelists. Your budget-friendly alternative is Joey's Baby Dragon, and maybe you have a few others. If you already unlocked GX world, Elemental Hero Avian can help you as well. With 5D's world, we unlock our starting character, Yusei. Synchro summons are now enabled. After 10 of them, you get another extra deck slot. Not that we need one right now. First objective, high duel score against sector security. That is a certain standard duelist in 5D's and Arc 5 world, and it took me a few stage ups to find him. Luckily, he is using an easy deck here, so that we can accumulate duel points. My basic deck now has Obelisk for the Divine Beast summon, Tribute summon, and Prismatic bonuses. We also get over 3000 damage if we swing in with him. A total of 5000 duel assessment points against him are the hidden requirement for Crow Hogan. He is one of 2 hidden characters in fact, but we won't be able to get the second one until much later. After this duel, I keep the duel score screen in to prove that with this deck against this opponent it is actually possible to get a high duel score. If you're struggling to get the 5k, let me calculate for you. Play a duel for 1000, win for another 1000, summon a divine beast like Obelisk for 1000 more, use the duel assessment booster item before the duel for an additional 1000, play during the duel assessment campaign for another 1000, and you got it. I am dragging this duel out for a few reasons. At this point I don't yet have 50 low deck wins for Bastion's requirement, so that helps. Winning with a low deck earns us points, but winning with no cards left in deck earns us even more. You could also use a farm deck that is specifically designed to give you a high score. One of the more budget-friendly ones is the good old Vessel farm, but at this point I do not have all necessary components. As you can see by the size of my extra deck, this duel happens fairly early on. I have 2 ways to win this duel: run him out of cards or swing in with Obelisk for massive damage. There shouldn't be a huge difference in points for either, and throughout these last turns I'm still thinking about which one to go for. With Obelisk and Gravity Lash, which weakens a monster, the damage feels tempting. I will get 2000 for winning, 500 for not taking damage, 500 more for having an extremely low deck, 600 for playing a prismatic card, 200 for playing a glossy one, 500 for over 3000 damage, 100 for destroying 5 monsters, 100 more for playing a spell, 100 for a special summon, 300 for a tribute, 400 for an XYZ, 400 more for a link summon, and 1000 for summoning a divine beast. And if we add all of those up, that makes 6700 points. And obviously that is more than 5000 which we needed. So you see, it's just this easy. And with this, we're done. So let's reveal Crow's missions and make him appear. The missions include Yusei beating him 3 times at level 30, winning 3 duels with winged beasts only, and inflicting 30,000 points of effect damage in 5D's world duels. And if we take into account that we had to get 20,000 effect damage points in DM world for the Yummy Merrick, that means for those 2 characters alone we have to inflict 50,000 points of effect damage. That's quite a lot if we actually add those together. Now for this effect damage mission, I am definitely going to apply the Vessel farm. So I went back into DM world to unlock Ishizu and grabbed the Gore in Rain's world. As for the 3 level 30 wins, I show you this one duel and deal with him 2 more times off screen. When it comes to the 3 winged beast wins, I took every playable one I had and beat 3 standard duelists while not normal or special summoning anything that's not a birdie. You've seen the sector security guys monsters capping out at 1200 attack points. The other standard duelists are just as easy. One reason I did not stage up DM world past 9. In the beginning days of this account I was not confident enough in my deck to kick Crow's level 30 butt 3 times, so I went into other worlds and came back later. I respect him as an opponent, was quite nervous during all 3 duels. Blackwings, man, what a scary bunch. Before going for the next unlock, let's visit the shop. I am interested in the Stardust Nexus EX structure deck. It costs 1000 gems because Konami hates free-to-play players, I guess, but I find it worthwhile as I get my own copy of Stardust Dragon and a few more cards. that are pretty neat, like Boost Warrior, that are going to help a lot in the long run. And I have max gems anyway, so who cares? Junk Archer, by the way, helps with banishing 300 cards for Scud if you don't have him yet. And Scud is a character in a different world, so he does not matter for this video. Who matters a lot actually is our next character that we want to unlock, and that would be Akiza Izinski. She is next. Yusei has to beat her at level 20. We summon plant monsters 5 times and synchro summon 3 times. For the duel against Akiza, I replaced my plants like World Cratweight Champion with other monsters, as her spell card Fragrance Storm can remove my plants to draw her cards. I put them back in the deck after the duel. Summoning plants against standard duelist and synchro summoning are not a problem, as I now have my own Stardust Dragon. If you're feeling funny, let Akiza be and summon Shooting Star Dragon against Antinomy or Primo at level 30 to get your 3 synchro summons. The plants from Rampage of the Forest, like Carrot Weight and the Sylvans, have decent attack points, and summoning them is not really rocket science. Did it again! Akiza can be unlocked in a short amount of time, and that is by design, since we need to get 5D's World to stage 11 and need her for some stage missions along the way. So the devs made sure that you can unlock Akiza. There's this Ruddy Rose Burning structure deck which comes with your own Black Rose Dragon and Ruddy Rose, which again banishes. I grabbed the structure deck later at the very end. It's not needed in my opinion, but it helped me with one of Akiza's lifetime missions to summon Black Rose 30 times. The next character that we want to unlock has to be Jack. It doesn't have to be him, but I want him. Yusei summons Stardust against him, beats him at level 30 with Stardust. We deal 1000 points of effect damage against Jack. Yusei activates 4 traps in one duel, and Yusei hits level 30 Jack with 3000 or more attack points. Jack, Darksigner Kalin, and Darksigner Kali have effect damage missions, so if you perform the Vessel farm against each of them at level 10, you should be close to Crow's 30,000 effect damage. Do it one more time against Trudge, and you get a lot of effect damage without special commitment to Crow's mission. As a consequence, I don't mind these, as they allow for some efficiency. Getting Yusei to activate 4 traps in one duel is not a problem if you have an easy opponent like a standard duelist, or even do it in your effect damage duel against level 10 Jack. Besides that, challenge him at level 30, summon Stardust Dragon, beef it up with stuff like Spike Shield with Chain for 2 or 3000 or more attack, and go for game. He summons Red Dragon Archfiend and thinks he has me. He doesn't have me, because he attacked the wrong monster. Not that it matters. Dark Rebellion that we're about to summon can turn this around. I did not attack because I wanted him to keep his life points for now. This is essentially, reading is hard, essentially my first version of Yusei's deck, using the junk synchrons from his skill with some level 5 monsters to go into Stardust Dragon frequently. I later drop those and play the level 4 tuner, Angel Trumpeter, that I pull from the box Future Horizon. I also have Hyper Synchron from the structure deck, and it would buff Stardust to 3300 attack, but if, for whatever reason, the attack fails to finish him, Stardust is banished. That would ruin everything. Spike Shield will get the job done, but we need Jack's life points to be 3000 or less before Stardust attacks. I'm flirting with a comeback victory, although it is not part of the objectives. I think we should go in. Please don't be Dark Resonator. Still hesitant, and I guess I'm trying to activate 4 traps. Not sure if it works. Unfortunately, we had to waste 1 Spike Shield. To be quite honest with you, I don't know what I'm doing here. I should have equipped Stardust with the second Spike Shield and then attacked a long time ago. At this point it's just a waste of time for you and me. Looking at this, I think I might be toying with him, popping his back row with Link Slayer and running over his monsters. That crap is okay as long as I'm by myself, but I basically make you suffer too. And I can't even promise to not do it again, as the footage has already been recorded. I speed up the duels anyways to make it all more bearable, and a lot of duels have to be long, but this isn't one of them. If you think about Jack's missions, they're not half bad and actually quite manageable. There is one specific character in this world I don't like to unlock. Their missions are something else. That automatically leads me to mark most other missions in this world as being borderline simplistic. Maybe that's not the correct word. Most other missions are a child's play compared to what awaits me. There is an EX structure deck for Jack's Red Dragon Archfiend as well, King's Resonance, but I don't need it for any of the character unlock missions. I will be grabbing it regardless, but much later. People keep on complaining about how bad the card Red Dragon Archfiend actually is. I disagree, at least in Duel Links. Making 3000 attack points with just 2 monsters is pretty okay for me. It popping all defense position monsters on your opponent's field after attacking into one of them comes in clutch on a regular basis. And even it destroying my guys that didn't attack this turn is a quality that I can exploit. Remember how I struggled to destroy Duel? Red Dragon Archfiend. I want to destroy my real-life Nephthys and Fire King monsters, and who can do that? Red Dragon Archfiend. Even my main account plays it in all regular decks as part of my extra deck toolbox. The card itself can be helpful for a few character unlock missions, but it's not mandatory. When I finally get this structure deck, I do it for the lifetime missions. Jack needs to summon it 30 times, and having a copy besides the one from his initial skill speeds up the process. Main account prefers to summon Stardust Dragon and prioritizes Stardust Spark Dragon in certain situations. If neither of them can get the job done, I send out Red Dragon Archfiend. Its retrained Scarlight is arguably better, but I stick to Jack's anime signature card. We still have a lot of characters to unlock in 5D's world, and Jack's about to be no longer one of them. Regular Kali should be the next character we unlock, Kali Carmine. And there is a Darksigner version of her, so I refer to her as regular Kali to distinguish her from Darksigner Kali. And Darksigner Kali, saying this over and over again, is just pretty long, and I abbreviate this by DS sometimes. DS Kali, DS Kalin, DS Rex, and who else is going to come? DS Misty probably in the future. Anyways, regular Kali is on the easier side and spawned in the world. We have to give Jack a no damage win against Kali at level 30, beat her at level 30 3 times in a row, win 3 with spellcasters only, win 3 without using high level monsters, and special summon 3 times in one duel. The 3 special summons are easily done when summoning Shooting Star Dragon against Antinomy or Primo. We win 3 duels in which we don't synchro summon at all to clear another mission. Maybe we play those 3 duels with spellcasters only. We have Jack duel Kali at level 30 3 times and hope that one of them is a no damage win, which is easier said than done as Kali plays an effect damaging card, the continuous trap Ominous Fortune Telling. This one particularly deals 350 points of damage during each of her standby phases. You can avoid that by not having cards in your hand, but I decided to just get lucky as we need to duel her 3 times anyways. The faster we finish the duel, the less likely it is that she sees her trap. A monster like Prime Material Dragon obtained in Mizar's starter deck or Death Wombat Dawn of Destiny minibox can avoid effect damage. On a different account when trying this, I got unlucky and took damage in all 3 duels, thus having to duel her a 4th time. Also, you need to win 3 in a row. If you're about to lose, you can keep your streak by closing the game and booting it up again. The game asks if you want to continue the duel and you say no. You lose the gate keys you spent on the previous duel, but you keep your streak. The rest of Kali's missions were done off-screen. Regular Kalin is up next. Yusei destroys 3 monsters in one duel, summons Stardust against level 30 Kalin and beats him with it. We deal 1500 effect damage at once and win a duel with 1500 or less life points remaining. Surprisingly little interaction with Kalin himself. Yusei is needed for quite a few unlocks, so destroying 3 monsters in one duel clears itself. 1500 points of effect damage with 1 activation is begging for the Vessel farm, which is applied against Trudge at level 10. The 1500 or less life points might be accomplished by Jack against Darksigner Kali at level 30, or, that's a new one, Sherry LeBlanc at level 10. That in fact leaves 2 Stardust missions against level 30 Kalin. At this point I don't have my playset of Angel Trumpeters and instead rely on the level 3 Junk Changer from Future Horizon. It can increase or decrease a junk monster's level by 1, making itself a level 4 tuner. As an added benefit, it happens to be a warrior, and Yusei has to summon 60 of those for a lifetime skill. Speaking of skills, with a Bond illuminates the future, this would have been over by turn 4. But then again, I would need a lot of cards I don't have on this account, not at the point of recording the footage. The skill A Bond Illuminates the Future is obtained after Yusei summons 6 level 7 or higher synchro monsters. Psi Frame Node Zeta over there from Future Horizon can be one of those. I messed up earlier when summoning the second junk changer with a rival. I should have used its effect to make it a level 4. That way I would have Stardust by now. There wasn't really an excuse as to why I didn't do that. Pressed the button too fast. Now I have to hope that I draw the third copy of Changer in time, or my lone copy of Angel Trumpeter, that works too. Meanwhile the floodgate trap holes keep me in the game. Time to summon Stardust. I'm actually quite relieved reviewing the footage, starting to doubt myself, giving you a clip of a failed attempt which I didn't even remember. But no, we are winning this. We built a board and made it so he has a card in his hand, which won't stay there for long as he can temporarily banish it with his trap Phantom Hand. Let's finish him off. After this one I need a break, so let me tell you about today's sponsor. Nah, there isn't one. No ad break today. As I said, 3 of his missions can be cleared when going for other character unlocks, and only one duel against him at level 30 was necessary. The deck I was using there was a variation of my standard deck on this account, and then I have another deck on Yusei specifically made to bring out shooting Star Dragon. Have to do that a few times. We talked about him before, and now it's time to get him, I guess, because the next character is our favorite Sector Security Officer, Trudge. And what do we need to do if we want to unlock Trudge? It's easy, really, because Yusei synchro summons twice against Trudge and brings out Junk Synchron twice against him at level 30, hits him for 4000 points of damage, we activate 4 traps against him, and we clap him with 2000 points of effect damage at once. The first 3 can be combined if you feel like it. The plan is to summon Junk Synchron twice and use both for level 7 synchro summons. One of my monsters is buffed up and then we swing in. Sounds easy, but most of the time it isn't. His monster called Gonogo can change your beefed up guy to face down defense position, getting rid of all the buffs. That's why I would recommend a monster with 4000 attack points printed on it like Obelisk. The 4000 need to happen against him at level 30. I want to duel him at level 10 for the vessel farm and can duel him again to swing him with Obelisk. However, I have Obelisk in this deck and tried to summon it before he runs out of cards, as the skill with its 2 Junk Synchrons turned my deck into a 22 card pile. The 4 traps, by the way, can be activated in several duels against Trudge, not all in one. That is surprisingly lenient. Level 30 Trudge does not play an extra deck, but if he has at least 4 cards in hand, he could drop a Montage Dragon on you. Monty is summoned by discarding 3 monsters and gains attack equal to their levels times 300. When I have to face it, I usually look at 3300 attack points. However, only its attack increases, the defense remains at 0. If you change its position, it's easy money. Or you could banish it with Junk Archer. When it returns, its attack is nothing but a big fat 0. Montage Dragon is used in farm decks, most notably when farming experience points. Main account has such a level up deck, but built after watching a video by Just a Cat with a Mustache. During the 1.5 times experience campaign, main account used the deck to level all characters up. That is no longer necessary as main account maxed out all its characters' levels. When a new one comes around, I slap the deck on them and get to work. Montage Dragon is obtained by leveling up Trudge to 30 and 40 respectively. Sometimes they have special campaigns that give you certain card tickets and then you could use one on Monty or let's say Amazoness Queen, another level up card. Psi Frame Node Zeta did what I recommended Junk Archer for, banishing Monty temporarily to take its boosts, and now the Trudge man is out of resources. I'm not getting Obelisk here, but I keep waiting. But it doesn't look like it, it's too late, and now we have to hope to get it in the next duel. We take what we can get, and we got 2 clears, 2 Junk Synchrons and 2 Synchro Summons. It's fine. Have to face him again. On the plus side, we cleared 2 missions against him at level 30 without using gate keys. 1 more left for level 30 duels, the 4000 damage. Because the game hates me, all of you have to sit through another duel. For this one, I deactivated the skill to start with a 20 card deck. I also put different dimension capsule in there to search for Obelisk, and since I can search it, the duel is going to be faster than the previous one. A benefit of using Obelisk is that it is unaffected by stuff and cannot be targeted, giving it an extra layer of protection. Trudge is not a mean opponent. If you can handle Gonogo and Montage Dragon, you should be able to outplay him. What did me in was not my opponent, but the game itself, as it refused to give me Obelisk. But then again, the game gave me the two junk synchrons early, which is not to be taken for granted. If we look at it from that angle, the first duel was okay. Back in the day, I used to trash talk the game for bad luck, but ever since then I've developed the skill to see the lucky moments, like I just did with the junk synchrons. This led me to a more positive attitude and I can enjoy the game a lot more. Speaking of seeing the lucky moments, it is not yet time, but during the Darksigner Kali unlock, I will get some extraordinary luck, which is pretty much needed. For me at least. Trudge gets a lifetime skill for defeating Yusei with Goyo Guardian, which can be added to our extra deck with a different skill. You don't automatically get it when unlocking Trudge, but have to level him up a few times. Once I unlock him, I'm going to give him some experience preparing for the lifetime skill mission. I do the same with Antinomy when the time comes. His lifetime skill missions I always enjoy, unlike Zone's. That one blows. Doesn't need to concern you. The next character we want to unlock is Darksigner Kalin. Yusei summons synchro monsters twice in one duel against DS Kalin. We activate 4 traps in one duel against him and deal 3800 points of effect damage to him. Yusei summons Stardust Dragon against DS Kalin at level 30 and gets a comeback victory. That all sounds rather straightforward. This version of Kalin likes to play Infernities just as much as the previous Kalin. As we dealt with that before, we should be fine. I want to take this opportunity to talk about a certain section in reverse of Arcadia. This is the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship Series 2010 game. Spoilers incoming. We have to turbo duel against a version of Darksigner Kalin. Reverse introduced special rules for boss battles. For the turbo duel, the special rule makes the two of us start with 0 cards in hand. That is nice for him and his Infernities, but I find myself in a little bit of a predicament, drawing spell trap cards when I need a monster and so on. That one turbo duel can be the easiest or the hardest duel in the entire game. The reason for that lies in the special rule alone. In my regular turbo deck I would be using a few high-level monsters. On my very first attempt, and I kid you not, I top-decked 1 of 2 in my first turn. Ever since then I've made sure to modulate my deck beforehand so that this crap does not happen again. Here I am using Gravity Lash on purpose. No, I haven't gone crazy. But I want to get a comeback victory and lower my life points in a controlled environment to set it up. This could backfire, but since you are watching this clip, it does not backfire. We synchro summon twice and one of them is Stardust Dragon. Assuming we get the comeback victory, that would leave 4 traps in 1 and 3800 points of effect damage as DS Kalin's unlocked missions. You are familiar with the Vessel farm and I just put 5 or more traps in. Why 5? Because if we only have 4 and one of them is the last card in my deck, I have to set it, being a trap card and all, and won't be able to activate it in time when I'm also trying to win. When it comes to activating traps, I always put at least 1 more that I actually need in. I save you the time of watching me Vessel farm again. So here's DS Kalin. After claiming his missions, because I was reading too fast and now my script is empty or is done. But yeah, we just unlocked Darksigner Kalin. And the next one I'm not going to like. There she is, Darksigner Kali. Jack has to beat her at level 30 with 2000 or less life points remaining and performs 4 special summons and summons Red Dragon Archfiend and gets a comeback victory. Then we deal 3600 effect damage. First, I need a little something. At this point we have a few box chips. One card that hopefully helps me out and that I should have grabbed sooner is the quick play spell card Cosmic Cyclone. I'm not so much intending to use it on Kali's back row, but on her field spell card that causes all sorts of issues. Let me add it to the deck and then I can explain a little. I have Destiny Hero Plasma in my deck to shut off her monster's effects, basically turning the Fortune Ladies she uses into 0 attack monsters. Most of my deck looks familiar, but I replaced the 3 spike shields with Floodgate Trap Holds. That's when you know I'm serious. No Red Dragon Archfiend yet means I have to rely on the skill to give me one. It also gives me 2 copies of Dark Resonator. And this duel here, or this missions, or this character unlock, will be the only time I'm using items, extra card and extra life before the duel begins, and that's when you know I'm pooping my pants here. While we duel her, I need to talk about her field spell. It is Mausoleum of the Emperor, which she uses to bring out her Earthbound Immortal that can attack me directly with 2500 attack points, ending the duel in 2 turns. If I want to get my life points to below 2000 and get a comeback victory, I'm in for a treat. She cripples herself, paying up to 3000 life points, so if I can't get below 1000 I won't get a comeback win. You could embrace the Mausoleum and use it for high-level monsters, lowering your life points in the process. But she doesn't always play it until much later, leaving you with a bunch of unplayable monsters in your hand. I opted to fight the Mausoleum, removing it with Cosmic Cyclone, dropping my life points in the process. However, she has a second copy in her deck. One time I used Mystical Space Typhoon to destroy it on activation, and she played the second one right after, as she had both copies in her hand. I can survive one attack from her Earthbound Immortal, and with a cost for Cosmic Cyclone I should be okay. Until I remember what it does. When the field spell is gone, it goes to the monster, that is, destroying my monsters in the process and dealing hefty damage to me, finishing the duel. That is a problem. Stardust Dragon could prevent that, I guess. There is another problem now. If she summons her boss, she'll be at 500 life points. For a comeback, I need to go below that. But how? On the other hand, if you can get her life points to 2000 exactly or slightly below that, she cannot summon her Asla Piscu with the field spell and has to tribute summon it. Still waiting for Plasma, by the way. And that's the reason I'm not going into Stardust. I need to get rid of 3 monsters and would like to keep Dark Rebellion around for now, meaning I'd have to tribute Stardust. Heck no. Also, Red Dragon Archfiend for the unlock mission. You know what? Screw Dark Rep. Now I could try to make Stardust. And I think it's coming in just a few seconds. The one that I'm talking about here. Earthbound Immortal Asta Piscu. Yeah, there it is. Not good. No Mirror Force because I can take 1 attack with my extra life. Cosmic Cyclone in an empty field means Piscu is gone and I don't take damage. The perfect top deck. At this point I buried all hopes of getting a comeback victory, so I should just finish the duel. Sad state of affairs, but we didn't clear all 4 level 30 missions. We take what we get though, and 3 out of 4 is okay. The comeback I can achieve in a way shorter duel. This was rough, intense, extreme, not fun. In my anger, I decided to wait for the now useless Plasma to see if it would show up at all. A little too late, buddy. Here, run out of cards, why don't ya? At least I didn't use gate keys on this one and was able to clear some missions. Ugly cut, and on to round 2. Looking on the bright side of life, I consider her the toughest unlock in this game so far, which means it's getting easier after this one. All because of Mausoleum. This time I'm not using the skill, as Red Dragon Archfiend doesn't help that much and the Dark Resonators can be a nuisance. My Gravity Lashes can come in handy to reduce my own life points. First layer of safety, Stardust Dragon. But it's too early for Lash, and I can't be overly aggressive against Fortune Lady Light, as Kali would lose a number of life points, making a comeback victory harder to get. Salamangreat Jaguar shouldn't be in here, as it deals piercing damage, which I tend to forget in crucial moments and thus lowers her life points before I can set up my comeback. So we should remove it. And what better way than an XYZ summon? Kachi Kochi can attack twice, basically making sure that I can finish the duel at any point. Life points lowered, so we need to wait 1 more turn. She didn't have Mausoleum this time. All of a sudden, I stand a chance. Let's wrap this one up. Finishing by turn 11 is rather late and much later than I would have liked. But any point before Mausoleum hits the field is early enough. The 3600 points of effect damage were done against her at level 10 using the Vessel farm. After all the hype, she didn't seem so bad, right? I'll never unlock her like this again. Using a character ticket instead. And she'd be the only one. Next character we need to unlock is Antinomy. And I have to wait until the footage catches up. But Antinomy shouldn't be too bad. Not as bad as Kali. I should say. And I waited a long time to unlock her. So anyways, Antinomy. Yusei beats him at level 30, synchro summons 3 times in one duel, brings out Shooting Star Dragon, we activate 4 traps in one against him, and Yusei destroys him at level 30 with Shooting Star Dragon. Sounds like a lot, but can be done in one duel. Yusei goes up against him at level 30, activates 4 traps in that duel, and then beats him with Shooting Star Dragon. That's all. Things can get ugly if you don't draw your spell's traps to protect yourself, or if you synchro summons like crazy. The most common problem I face is him thinning out his deck fast. It is the usual issue. He runs out of cards before I get my stuff. You can summon Shooting Star Dragon off of Yusei's starting skill without getting new cards, but I feel like the Stardust Nexus structure deck makes sense, giving you the special summonable level 1 Boost Warrior. I could then play the skill The Tie That Binds and not inflate my deck with 2 junk synchrons. Stardust Dragon is on the field and 1 Boost Warrior in hand. I need a level 1 tuner and a few more traps. We munched away at his life points to prepare the Shooting Star finish. When it comes to the 4 traps, I'm not dead set on doing it in this duel. I can challenge him at level 10 to get this done. He appeared at level 30 in the world at some point, and I already tried the Shooting Star summon, but he would run out of cards before I had my combo pieces, so that was a duel for the trash bin. I've been waiting for him to reappear. It didn't happen, and I decided to finally go to the gate. One reason for that was the fact that Primo was hanging around, and I need Antinomy to unlock Primo. Formula Synchron can synchro summon during the opponent's turn, so as long as he doesn't get aggressive, I keep Stardust around for some added protection. The duel goes on as I'm still waiting for more traps. Otherwise, I would already have been able to send him back to the future. At this point, he must be running low on monsters, I reckon. So we can summon Shooting Star Dragon without too much hassle. I can already tell that this magic cylinder will not resolve, so screw it, I'm done. I put a bunch of easily activatable traps in my deck like Shield Spear, Castle Walls and the likes. Traps don't stick around like Mirror Force would. And I challenge him at level 10 and that's it. Antinomy can be a douche, at level 30 that is, when he plays a spell that buffs his monsters. If it happens early in the duel, I can't beat over them and lose. The card in question is TGX 300. Overall, this time his unlock wasn't too bad. And next up is Primo, as I already hinted at. We defeat him at level 30 with Shooting Star Dragon. Yusei summons Stardust Dragon against him, destroys 20 monsters in total, and synchro summons 3 times in one duel against Primo. Antinomy then synchro summons twice in one duel against him. Yusei will be able to destroy 20 monsters easily when clearing several character unlock missions. If we leave that aside, Yusei defeats him at level 30 with Shooting Star Dragon, and Antinomy performs 2 synchro summons in a duel against Primo. That's what it comes down to. Pretty simple, really. Primo likes to destroy his own monsters to summon Meklord Emperor Yusei, 2500 attack, and can negate a spell once per turn, so I should reduce the number of spells and increase the number of traps in my deck. You know what else it can do? Equip itself with your synchro monster. I recommend performing the summon of Stardust Dragon Formula Synchron and Shooting Star Dragon in a single turn and beat him so that he does not have an opportunity to make you sad. We have a level 4 monster and wait for Angel Trumpeter. Or any level 4 tuner really. We summon it as well as keep one monster zone unoccupied. We wait for the level 1 tuner, play it, protect it. The turn after that we summon Stardust, our level 1 non-tuner, which in my case is Tuningware and not the special summonable Boost Warrior, which I should be playing instead, and make Formula. Me using his starting skill and having no Boost Warrior means that this duel had happened before I invested into Stardust Nexus. My bad. Floodgate Trap Hole made his monsters unusable and he does not have enough space for Yusei shenanigans. We can build our board and eventually destroy his dreams in one turn with Jaguar's piercing effect, Kachikochi's 2 attacks, and Shooting Star for a shining finish. Embodiment of Apophis can protect my life points or enable an extra deck summon if I don't have any monsters on the field. Activated, summon a guy from hand and go ham. As his monsters are useless and he probably has a Vessel in hand, I have to take advantage of the board state and prepare the one-turn finish. It has a different name, abbreviation is OTK, but I don't want to say the one word as to not get in trouble. Forget about Jaguar's piercing damage as I was just suffering from Fooleritis making a fool of myself. Whatever, we can start clearing the field. I realize that I haven't shown you my Shooting Star Dragon mission deck yet. It's just the normal deck, but 4 level 4 monsters have been dropped for 2 level 1 tuners and 2 level 1 non-tuners. You maybe got away with 1 each, but I feel more comfortable with 2, making this more consistent without hindering the deck's abilities too much. Now on to Antinomy. Level 10 Primo would be quite enough. Here he is at level 20. Not optimal, but we can get it done maybe in this duel and give it a shot for free. If we fail, but why should we, there are plenty of gate keys we can spend on challenging him again. I increased the number of tuners compared to my regular deck from 3 to 6 to get this done a little faster. Usually the monster I drop is Cross-Sword Beetle. Poor guy. The synchro monsters I have at this point are mostly level 7s and Stardust Dragon. No synchro summon just yet, as he can drop a Weisel at any point to ruin me. Him summoning a weak monster means he has equips and wants to delete my junk changer. That would be a floodgate moment, but I have a Lash and can let him waste his resources. Lash would be useless against Weisel anyways, so I can save the floodgate trap hole for his Meklord Emperor. And now it's time. Okay, so I do have Stardust Spark Dragon at this point. That means I unlock Hugo and Selena before Primo. Speaking of Primo, he should be done after this duel and we would move on to stage 10 characters. However, Sherry was added recently, so I'm going to squeeze her clip in shortly, even though she was unlocked way later than DS Rex, Aporia and all the others. So I would ask you to ignore the stage I'll be at when unlocking Sherry. Her missions become available at stage 6. More on that in a few seconds. And Primo was another character we unlocked without using gate keys. Nice. The difficulty was nowhere near DS Kali. And now it's time for Sherry. Yusei wins 3 duels against level 30 Sherry. Akiza summons Black Rose Dragon against her. Crow wins a duel against her. We beat her with 1000 or less life points remaining. And Synchro summoned 2 level 7 or higher monsters against Sherry at level 30. That all seems reasonable. But why 3 level 30 wins? I'm going to show you 1 and defeat her 2 more times off screen. While writing the script, I know what happened during the entire unlock. And this first duel is probably the best for you to watch, as I started in both subsequent duels with only monsters and needed to wait for a spell trap to save me. Absurdly unlucky, and I mentioned it before. Whatever. I'm trying to get the Synchro Summon mission done in this duel already, and thus have to wait for my tuners, dragging the duel out for longer than otherwise necessary. Would have been easy to Synchro Summon twice over the course of 3 duels, but I think showing you that sort of trap is a better idea. Her extra deck monster, by the way, is not Chevalier de Fleur, and it most certainly isn't Baron. It's in fact a fusion monster, Centaur Mina. This one can negate one of my traps once during each of her turns. No Mirror Force unless I baited the negate with a different trap earlier that turn. So if you go for the Sherry unlock, you might want to drop most of your traps in favor of protective and helpful spell cards like Swords of Revealing Light or Enemy Controller. This is something you can do for the 3 level 30 duels. Akiza and Crow can challenge her at level 10, and one of the two will be able to win with 1000 or less life points remaining. At level 10, you don't have to face Centaur Mina, and overall it shouldn't be that hard anymore. The last character they added that had to be defeated 3 times at level 30 was Mizar. Also Girak and Alito, and if you have been paying attention, our very own Crow Hogan. So there aren't too many, and that makes the mission bearable. Also, they just recently added Dennis McField, and he has to be beaten as well, but that's for the Arc 5 video. Also, most other characters that have to be beaten at level 30 have some sort of twist to them, like getting a comeback victory. While we have to duel level 30 Sherry 3 times, the duels are not anything crazy. We don't have to wait for certain cards and can just finish her off as fast as possible. At times I prefer that over a convoluted single duel. Sherry will be the final stage 6 character for 5D's world as of now. The remaining characters are obtained at stage 10 and 11 respectively. Those include DS Rex, Paradox, Zone, Leo, Aporia and Luna. Likely unlocked in this order. Out of those, Rex is the toughest one. Leo the most anticipated and Zone the most convoluted. Oh boy. Those are discussed later, as we are currently dealing with Sherry's missions. I don't want Crow to win this or just like that, but do the 1000 or less life points mission along the way so that Akiza wouldn't have to do that and could focus on summoning Black Rose Dragon instead. I allow Sherry to attack me, and in this situation, with the power of hindsight, should have set World Caratweight Champion to tank one attack while still getting me to low life points. But I was banking on drawing it to Hieroglyph Lithograph, which took longer than I thought. Classic tunnel vision. It's what it is, and we can get her life points low while waiting. See how I only got monsters? We are 9 or 10 turns in, so what's going on? I tell ya, the Sherry unlock day was not a lucky day for me. In fact, Sherry's whole unlock process was among the unluckiest ones I've had in a while. Would have been easier to get her during the Duelist Road event, Just finish Area 1 and you get her basically for free. This account existed during that repeat event, but I chose to wait so that I could show this mess to you. Looking at this, I feel the urge to let Crow duel her again and delete this footage to replace it with something you actually deserve to watch. But then it would be fake, an imitation, fraud, and that's something you don't deserve. So I keep showing you this duel with one thought that almost lets me smile. You watch it at 3 times speed, while I had to play at 1 time. I'm sounding overly negative here, but the unlock is not bad. The game just refused to give me one of the 3 cards I needed. It can happen to me, to you, to brothers. Also, I need to talk the entire time while the footage is playing, and with about 6 hours of footage to commentate on, I'll get into phases like these when I run out of topics with substance to them. Final unlock mission for Sherry this time, Akiza summons Black Rose Dragon. By this point I own a copy of the Ruddy Rose Burning structure deck, but normally I wouldn't. So I am using the starting skill to add the level 7 Field Destroyer to my extra deck. As the copy plants given to me by the skill are flat out useless for summoning an odd level synchro monster, I handicap myself, but that's okay. As for the game plan, I am playing quite a few level 3 tuners to match my usual level 4 non-tuners and make the red beauty, which I can already do with the cards in my hand, a rival for more damage. In addition, I wanted my tuner on board in case I draw into a normal summonable monster next turn, which I didn't. So it's just more damage. Knowing what I should want. Reading, am I right? Knowing that I wouldn't draw another monster, I could have normal summoned TG Jet Falcon then. However, the additional damage from turn 2 comes in handy. And, as expected, this duel is way shorter and easier than the other ones. If you unlock Sherry, you can let her beat Yusei up with Chevalier de Fleur to get its summon animation and a lifetime skill for her called Revolution de Fleur. It was added to the lifetimes list when they made Sherry a gate character. Poor Yusei, almost every 5Ds character can get a skill for slapping him. Okay, not everybody, just 10 of them. Yo, that's still a lot. Some characters like regular Kalin or regular Kali have to annihilate a different opponent, being their Dark Signer versions. Others like Crow and Akiza do not have beef with anybody. Main characters in other worlds have the same problem as Yusei. Yuma in Zexal world has to be defeated so many times that he won't remember his companion Astral at the end of this. All for some lifetime skills. But I'd rather beat him than, let's say, summon Destiny Hero Plasma 30 times or have Jaden Ubel as well as Supreme King Jaden fusion summon 50 times each. Or Yami Yugi, DM Yugi and DSOD Yugi fusion summon 20 times each and Ritual summon 20 times each. Lifetime skills are something else. Luckily, you don't need all of them to be happy. Some, like Neo's Tribute, Transcendent Crystals, and Magician's Magic, help with unlocking characters. For the rest of them, you have the game's lifetime worth of, time. Next is DS Rex Goodwin. Yusei summons Stardust Dragon against DS Rex at level 30. Jack plays 2 continuous traps in 1 against him at level 30. Crow special summons 4 times in 1 duel against him at level 30. Yusei gets 3500 attack in, and Yusei beats him with 1000 or less life points remaining. The high damage one is going to be good because you won't expect what's coming. For now I'm just playing Stardust Dragon though. The damage and low life point missions will be done against him at level 10, so this is a Stardust Dragon summon only. And I'm actually good at those on this account. Hopefully it won't take too long. While this is going on, I can talk about level 30 Rex and his mildly annoying deck. His level 5 2k Defender Oracle of the Sun is special summoned like Cyber Dragon, and he can then normal summon Escator or Supei to go into Sun Dragon Inti or Moon Dragon Kuya respectively. Quia gains him life points when it's attacked, and Inti destroys my stuff to deal damage to me. He can bring back Oracle of the Sun, and while he can imitate a level 5 with Apocalyptic Will, he rarely does this. So, if I can banish his copies of Oracle somehow, permanently that is, I don't have to be afraid of Quia and especially Inti so much. And then he has an Earthbound Immortal, Viracocha Raska. He, just like DS Kali, summons it by paying 2000 life points with Mausoleum of the Emperor. On summon, it shuffles up to 3 cards from his field back into the deck, rips the same number of cards out of my hand, and then gains 1000 attack for each of them. Raska, like most, if not all Earthbound Immortals, cannot be attacked and can attack me directly. But once I can summon Raska to completely obliterate Yusei for a lifetime skill, I can use its abilities for myself. It even might make a cameo in a duel between Zone and Yusei to participate in another lifetime skill mission. Spoilers again, this time for Reverse of Arcadia yet again. I have to duel DS Rex in there, and he sometimes lets me run over his face down Mystic Tomato to special summon Raska from the deck. Now that would blow my mind if it weren't actually a detriment. Its hand destruction effect, which is connected to its attack stat increase, only triggers when normal summoned. With Mystic Tomato, he gets a 100 attack points monster that admittedly can attack me directly, but doesn't have much else going on. The best he gets from this is removing a brick from his deck. When he then falls back into his Sun and Moondragon strategy, I use Karma Cut on his Oracle of the Sun and should be that much closer to victory. I played through Reverse quite a few times and cannot recall an instance of struggling against him. In Arcadia, it is easier to get DP, dual points, the in-game currency, than it is to get DP in its predecessor, Stardust Accelerator. As a consequence, we can buy a lot of packs in Arcadia and build a deck that can deal with Dark Signer Rex. I am not doing a let's play of that sort of stuff, but if you want to watch someone play Stardust Accelerator, Reverse of Arcadia, Over the Nexus, or any other Yu-Gi-Oh game and a lot of different games in general, I can highly recommend Delta Shiny Zeta. He knows what he is doing. End of spoilers, I guess, at least for now. Jack is still waiting for another continuous trap, and we are confronted by Raska. Mirror Force came at the right time to keep us in the game. I'm not summoning a monster to have one free monster zone in case the next continuous trap is Embodiment of Apophis or Soma the Spirit. He is running out of cards, and that means we're running out of turns. But you're watching this duel, and therefore we're about to get a clutch draw. All his deck thinning assisted in his defeat, and with his defeat we are one mission closer to unlocking him. Jack didn't need to win this duel, by the way, as long as he activated those continuous traps. When we swap to Crow, we can special summon 4 times against DS Rex at level 30. This is not a big deal. We have Synchro monsters, XYZ monsters, a Link monster, and World Carrotweight Champion. Its summon from the graveyard is a special summon, obviously. Monster Reborn special summons, the trap card Powerful Rebirth we saw in the previous duel special summons, and Stardust Dragon special summons itself after negating destruction effects. Plenty of opportunities. We don't need the spell traps or Stardust's revival, but go into a few extra deck monsters. Before I forget, trap monsters like Apophis or Soma special summon themselves too. I was about to say it's a baby mission, but then I remembered that we're up against DS Rex at level 30. Not so baby anymore. However, I did not need to modify my standard deck in any way, as it is capable of pooping out special summons, at least against non-human players. The remaining 2 missions for DS Rex can be done in duels against him at level 10. Yusei beats him with 1000 or less life points remaining and hits him with a chunker of battle damage. Both of these can be combined. You are familiar with my life point lowering strategy, the hieroglyph lithographs. Not innovative, slightly boring, but a safe and controlled way to get my life points to 1000. When it comes to inflicting huge amounts of damage, you've witnessed the power of Spike Shield as well as experienced the oppressive forces of the Egyptian god cards. Today it will be neither. I spent some time in Zexal World and needed to get a certain something for a few unlocks. As I already had the card, I decided to utilize it in this duel as some sort of preview, being part of the next video and all. Just as always, we keep the hieroglyphs for later, as there's not really a reason for us to lose life points early. While waiting on the third copy, we can build our board. Maybe I should give you a little tip on what you can use to increase your monster's attack. Free-to-play people and new accounts alike build their hopes and dreams on the equipped spell card Power of the Guardians. Veterans are trembling in fear. That one is good. We synchro-summoned our 3 monsters. I built an overlay network, XYZ summon, Neo Galaxy Eyes, Photon Dragon, and swing. Done. Now, that was a new one. I could have done it differently, but I thought this was funnier. Back to Power of the Guardians for a moment. Each time your monster battles, it gets stronger. You can obtain 2 copies from the EX structure deck 1000 Illusion. This account does not have it though, and we are doing just fine. And with all of this, Dark Signer Rex Goodwin is unlocked. With Paradox. Yusei gets a comeback victory against level 30 Paradox, summons Stardust Dragon and defeats him at level 30 with Stardust. Yami Yugi summons Dark Magician against him and Jaden Bell summons Elemental Hero Neos against him. That sounds simple at first, and for the most part it is, but I had to be a special snowflake in the GX duel, dragging it out a little longer than necessary. But first things first. While Yusei can summon Stardust Dragon against him at any level, he has to beat Paradox at level 30 with it. So it comes down to beating him at level 30 with Stardust Dragon and getting a comeback victory in the process. Against the level 30 opponent, I don't always want to play Hieroglyph, as I need the 3 slots in my deck for actual helpful cards. Therefore, I went with a classic open arms strategy. The comeback is now set up, and with my monsters I can make Stardust. Let's clean up the field so that Stardust Dragon has a path to his life points. And once we summon it, the duel is over. That makes 3 missions in less than a minute. I can tell you that we won't keep that pace. And the next we have to do is actually swap characters and go into DM World to pick Yami Yugi. I changed his deck so that we have Dark Magician in there. Playing multiple copies makes it more likely to draw one soon. You get Dark Magicians from Yami Yugi's starter deck, DSOD Yugis, and Arcanas. You can also get Dark Magician as a lifetime card reward. The skill Magician's Magic would be quite useful in this duel, as you don't have to tribute summon it. You can even get it into the graveyard and bust out a monster reborn. And with this skill, it's normal summoned without tributes. At this point, it just becomes a matter of drawing into a Dark Magician. And like always, the game does not care to cooperate. Until it does. So we wait and then get him once we have the Dark Magician. In this duel I did not use the skill because it's just not necessary all the time. And maybe I forgot. That is another mission done. Quick swap to Jaden Bell. And then we're off to the final one. Summoning Elemental Hero Neos. It has to be Jaden Bell specifically, not regular old Jaden. If you're chasing after lifetime skills, you would now have an opportunity to get 3 in one duel potentially. Jaden Bell wins a duel with warriors only. He summons Neos 3 times in one duel and defeats an opponent with Neos. That's what I'm going for anyway, and it's rather tempting as I have all 3 copies of Neos in my hand already. Where did I get all of those? One was in Jaden's starter deck and obtained as soon as you unlock GX World. The second one came from Supreme King Jaden's starter deck. It's the only one that's not glossy. And the third is a Jaden Bell starter deck card. No ultra rare card tickets needed. Besides that, you could summon a Neos 3 times with a single copy, as demonstrated in the Bell unlock missions. And you can try to go for the 3 lifetime skills against any opponent. We already cleared the mission for Paradox, which was summoning it once, but I'm committed now. Imagine my surprise when after the duel I realized that I already had 2 of the 3 skills. Classic. Doesn't need to concern you though. We unlock Paradox and that leaves 4 characters in 5D's world. One is left as stage 10, the other 3 are stage 11 exclusives. For 2 of those you need Leo, and he is the stage 11 guy, so those become stage 11 characters as well. Next up is Zone or Z1 or Zoni. I call him Zone. Yusei beats him at level 30, synchro summons 4 times in one duel, summons a total of 5 level 7 or higher dragon synchros in one duel against him, deals 1500 points of effect damage and obliterates him with Stardust Dragon. Convoluted but manageable. The 4 synchro summons in one duel don't have to be the level 7 or higher dragons. At that point I had a few copies of Psi-Framework Zeta and Psychic Life Transfer, both obtained from opening Future Horizon. The plan is to kick his butt at level 30 and challenge him at level 10 to synchro summon 4 times. If you have a level 7 or higher dragon synchro monster like the ones from the friend code Blue Eyes deck, you can summon them to shorten the grind. Otherwise you could let Yusei summon Stardust Dragon in 5 separate duels against Zone. This duel happened rather late in my unlocking days, already having most characters in the game. I mentioned the Black Rose Dragon and Red Dragon Archon structure decks and said you don't need them. While I stand by that, I had purchased them to make my life easier. I don't want to duel Zone 5 or 6 times. And why shouldn't I use the cards I have? That means I could summon Black Rose, Stardust Spark, Red Dragon Archfiend and Stardust. Originally planned against him at level 10 as I said, but we could try this against level 30. I link summon to have space for more synchro material. If we defeat him with Stardust Dragon, we only need to synchro summon one more level 7 or higher dragon and inflict 1500 points of effect damage, both possible in a single duel against him at level 10. That would mean we dueled him twice. If you're super crazy and have the cards, you could do it in a single level 30 duel. To that I say, no thanks. Now I want to talk about a lifetime skill Zone can obtain. He has to beat Yusei with Cephalon the Ultimate Time Lord. If you're like me on this account, you don't have a Cephalon, so you need to rely on Zone's starting skill. The only monsters you're allowed to have in the deck for the skill to work are level 10 monsters. Only then will they add Cephalon to your deck, and Cephalon can only be summoned by having 10 or more level 10 monsters in your graveyard. What gives? Without monsters, even level 10 Yusei will have you beaten in a few turns. In Future Horizon you could get a copy of Tragodia, that helps, as it can be special summoned. Besides that, my strategy was to be lucky and get Embodiment of Apophis early, as trap monsters fly under the level 10 requirement, but are still summonable as monsters to protect your life. Once you have one thing to protect you, keep all cards in your hand, and discard level 10 monsters due to hand size limit. That way, you get them into the graveyard. Once 10 of them are there, drop Cephalon and swing in for game. At first I didn't know that trap monsters don't block this skill, but once I realized the mission became slightly more bearable. Quite a few skill missions want you to defeat a certain opponent with a certain card. Normally I enjoy those to pieces, but this one I came to despise. And since I wouldn't be guaranteed to get a trap monster early, I would play stuff like Swords of Revealing Light. Even then, I would open level 10 monsters only and see my life points drop like snowflakes. That skill mission might take a few attempts, but if you like Time Lords, don't let that discourage you. It is possible, says the Unlock Boy, and if I can get it on like 3 accounts, you definitely can as well. It is still a mission I don't enjoy, but I do enjoy summoning Stardust Dragon. As the only mission left for Zone is dealing effect damage, we could finish the duel immediately after summoning Vessel. No point in dragging the duel out any further. Advanced Vessel farm with anti-magic arrows to safely run over a zero attack monster. There was a little bit of luck involved, especially in the level 30 duel, but it wouldn't have been horribly difficult anyway. Once Zone is unlocked, we can move on to stage 11, to get the final 3 characters, for now. Who knows if Konami wants to add some characters in the future like Darkseid and Misty. What 007 would like that? And the level cap right now is 40 for the 5Ds characters, and I guess they are going to increase this cap at some point, but I'm not in a rush for that actually. I don't like level cap increases too much, and there are so many characters and need so many experience points. No thanks. The next mandatory unlock is Leo. Yusei gets a quick victory against him at level 20, we play 3 equips in one duel and collect 5 machines. Let's go for the quick victory first. I'll take care of the machines after that, but I want to see if I can get a machine in the duel assessment screen. Would save me a card ticket. The 3 equip spell activations have already been done against the standard duelist. I used wild germs on my plants, and I got those as random duel rewards. Ah yes, the classic spike shield. Unfortunately on a zero defender again. Game does this on purpose. Playing defensively was risky by the way, as we need a quick victory. Dragging out a duel past my next battle phase would have ruined that. All he needed to do was keeping his monsters in defense. There's no guarantee that he attacks into my spike shields. The better way would have been piercing damage, but with Carrot as my only monster there was no way. Also, 2 spike shields and a gravity lash are too tempting to not try this. Without Leo we cannot completely unlock Aporia, and he needs to win 100 duels for Luna to show up in the first place. I'll get into detail when the time comes. Leo, like most other characters, has lifetime skills. For one of them, he has to summon Power Tool Dragon 10 times. When you get Leo, he doesn't yet have this skill, which adds Power Tool to his extra deck. He needs to hit level 4 first, and for the other lifetime skill, he has to summon 2 level 7 or higher monsters in one duel. The tuners added to his deck with his level 4 skill are 2 copies of the level 3 Morphtronic Remoten, and they're actually helpful for summoning Power Tool Dragon. Which is something I couldn't say about Akiza's tuners that are added to her deck, but whatever. So, next is Aporia. We get 3 comeback victories. Yusei beats him with Shooting Star Dragon. Leo summons a level 8 or higher dragon. We gain 1900 life points in one duel, and Jack hits him for 2600 points of battle damage. This is done after 3 duels against him at level 10. Easy missions. I guess I go for the Shooting Star Dragon first. We summoned that guy before, as was the case against Antinomy and Primo during their respective unlock missions. Yusei's starting skill adds Formula Synchron, Stardust Dragon and Shooting Star to your extra deck, basically giving you the tools you need. When you have the Stardust Nexus structure deck, you get Stardust and Formula, while Shooting Star can be claimed from the Lifetimes card list. The structure deck gave me 2 copies of Boost Warrior that can be special summoned, bringing Formula out 1 turn earlier, which then also applies to Shooting Star Dragon. At this point I'm just waiting for a level 1 tuner. And yes, I allowed him to attack me to prepare the first of the 3 comeback victories against Aporia. Before the duel I took 4 monsters out to add 2 tuners and 2 non-tuners, putting Formula Synchron and Shooting Star into my extra deck. There's no feeling like the stupidity when you're in a duel and forgot to put all the necessary stuff in. Happens to me a lot. And each time I realize that, the current duel is meaningless. I finish it and repeat it with my deck properly built. Shooting Star's effect, by the way, allows you to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and then has attacks equal to the number of tuners excavated. However, if no tuner is revealed by this effect, Shooting Star cannot attack this turn, which is the reason I usually don't use its effect to have its one guaranteed attack for the turn. Finally drew into Turbo Synchron. That means we're done here. I'm not showing summon animations because they take time, don't look promising, at 3 times speed, and may be a reason for Konami to take the videos down. But if you play the game and let Yusei summon it once, you can watch its summon animation over and over again. On to the second duel. Jack comebacks him and makes him feel the pain of 2600 attack points. If everything goes according to plan, Red Dragon Archfiend should be able to take care of this. You've seen comeback wins before and you've seen ginormous damage before, so there isn't really anything new I can tell you about the missions for the current duel. Real talk time. In 2010 I took a hiatus from the game which lasted for 5-ish years. One day when shopping in town I saw a lone copy of the Synchron Extreme structure deck. I bought it because I always liked Yusei and his Synchrons. That's the product that got me back into the game. I've tried to keep up with the stuff and cards released during the hiatus, and while I was never able to fully catch up, I stuck with the game and never again took a break. To this day I pay attention to the competitive scene, although I am a casual guy who does not want to invest millions of dollars, for me that would be euros, into products or singles. Every once in a while I get my hands on something useful for one of my decks, but that's about it. I live in a card and toy shop free area, so internet orders are basically my only way to get new stuff. The Synchron deck still exists and I turned it into my most powerful deck, which doesn't say much because I'm still missing crap like Stardust Synchron. A lot of people have a pet deck and maybe I can talk about mine when there's some time for that. We should get back to the duel now. Leo gets a comeback win. He will also gain 1900 life points in this duel and summons a level 8 or higher dragon. This doesn't have to be a Synchro monster, you could let him summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon or anything else. Stardust Dragon as an extra deck monster is more accessible though. And about the other 2 missions, we allow Aporia to attack us, build a board and keep the life point gainers for our last turn. We fire them off, gain life points and win. That's the plan which usually works. For most other characters I have a rough idea about how I want to do the missions, but Aporia to me feels mapped out from start to finish, as I assign specific tasks to each duel. Yeah, that's called unlock missions, dummy. I guess it's a me thing. I'm also not good at explaining what I mean. Maybe it feels like I had control over all 3 duels, and every single second from when Yusei challenged him to now. I wonder, we got Primo and we have Aporia. Does that mean we get Lester and Jacob at some point as well? I hope not. It's not like I hate them or anything, but main account has to unlock them and max out their levels, because that's what the main account does. The current level cap for 5D's characters is 40, that makes 423,100 experience for each of them. And I suspect there might be a level cap increase by then, pushing the limit to 45, that makes 613,100 experience points, 190k more over 5 levels. Per character, that is. So then, maxing them out would take a while. I was about to say that completed series like the original one have a set cast of characters, and once all of them are in the game, there can't be any more. It's not like they wouldn't retroactively add characters to a series that's already finished. But then I remembered that Paradox came to 5D's world being a movie villain. Those movies, man. The Dark Side of Dimensions movie alone was responsible for shoehorning in a world which didn't need to exist, with most of its characters being retrained versions of DM characters. The final one here to unlock is Luna. Her missions are clearable once Leo won 100 duels. He wins 3 more against level 30 Luna, summons 3 level 3 or lower monsters in one duel, and we synchro summon against Luna. The 100 wins normally take a while, but if you have a friend that's willing to be a homie, duel them as Leo when they let you win. Only takes a few hours at most. I hooked up the main account. If you can't do any of that, it's on to standard duelists, legendary duelists, vagabonds, and PvP duels. Whatever method you follow, it takes 100 Leo wins for Luna to be unlockable. I handled Luna twice off screen and let Leo use level 3 monsters against standard duelists. In this Luna duel, I could synchro summon to clear the final mission, but I didn't do it because you know how synchro summons work, and I preferred to finish the duel. Level 30 Luna is a problem if she beefs her monsters up with Horn of the Unicorn while you have no protection. In any other case, you should be able to win. With her finally unlocked, we have all 5D's characters for now, including Sherry, so this is updated, and as proof, take a look at the character wheel. In the next video, we move on to Zexal World. Thanks for making it this far, and thank you so much for watching.